embassy and requested the return of this pussy, which if he hadn't ran away, if he had stayed and faced the consequences of his action, none of this would happen. I would say even revolution will stop. Because the reason that he ran away, like, caused many people, like, ran away after him. Like, for example, many rich people, oh, our king ran away, we should run away also. So that guy, by running away, he caused a turmoil in the whole world. They took the hostage, the American diplomats in Iran, and the shit hit the fan, and we are paying the price up to now. This IRGC formed in the first place because this guy ran away. Because they were not sure that the revolution will survive. They thought that United States is gonna do a regime change. United States was saying we don't want to do regime change by day one, but the Iranian people did not believe it, and they formed this force which is called Revolution Guard. The idea of forming a force to guard the revolution is because this guy ran away. And now we are at the point that we want to bring his son back into power by overthrowing the Revolutionary Guard. Now, the reason that I say this is such a bad idea, and it's not really time to do that, because the more you kill Iranian people, the more people are tending to go over supporting IRGC. Right now, I'm talking to my family inside Iran. Don't listen to this Iranian outside Iran. They are in an echo chamber creating these stories that IRGC is cutting hand, cutting leg, killing people. I go to Iran 3 times last year. It's not true. It's literally not true. And people who are in Iran, they are inside Iran. They are seeing with their own eye. These are not nice people. They are very rough religious people. But they are not cutting hand. And when they see, like, in a state attack and kill Iranian, they are supporting the IRGC more and more. The life of IRGC is not like reduced by this action. It's exponentially increased. They had lost most of their support during the last couple of years because of a lot of Iranian people movements. But right now, they're so happy because people are gathering behind them. These things, these actions that Israel had started is having complete opposite effect. The IRGC loves it. This is what they were waiting for. The whole Iranian society is uniting behind them.
Wait a minute. Time out. Listen, first of all, what you just said, that last part, is patently false. I was allowing you to continue talking just so you could say stupid, indefensible things like you just said. I can't tell you the exact percentage of people that want IRGC out, but it's a fucking lot. And the fact that you're here on Clubhouse to try to make your fucking arguments to defend the fucking regime. Listen, man, I'm just going to say it like it is. I fucking hope that people that hold your ideology go to the fucking battlefield. The fucking bombs are coming. The planes are coming. The rockets are coming in. If you're fucking so about it, if you want to defend the fucking regime, why don't you go put yourself on the fucking battlefield? How about this? You don't have to, because you know what? Fucking Israel is so smart. When they hear motherfuckers like you know what they do? They fucking light up your pager. They light up your fucking pager. I hope you get a fucking page in the middle of the fucking night.
No, again, Mo, you didn't get my point.
No, we got your point.
Didn't?
You think that they're getting stronger. I think I saw you at the Pakistani room.
Someone, let me respond to Mo.
Go ahead.
Mo, you didn't get I'm not supporting the regime. I'm not supporting the regime. I don't need the pager here. You don't get...
Then say that you denounced them. Say that you denounced them.
I denounced them.
No, it doesn't matter. They are trained. They are trained to denounce the regime, call Khamenei names, complain about the IRGC. They will do anything to save themselves.
Don't create the echo chamber that you have been in the last.
You are spreading the regime propaganda. You go to the country 3 times a year, because you're one of them.
How long you have been there? Someone, when was the last time you went there?
My family's there right now. My family's there right now. My friends are there right now. I don't go because I'm a political dissident. I don't go because I'll get arrested and thrown in jail and tortured.
So is it a possibility that you are living in echo chamber, a world that you created?
No, because no, absolutely not. I was supportive of the Islamic Republic, or what I thought was a nationalistic endeavor when I was a kid. But just like you said, how long did it take for us to figure out that the Democrats like Jimmy Carter support this regime? Everything you said about the Shah was a lie. You called him, you want him to come back so he's murdered by the regime. That was their plan, because they knew that if they killed him and his whole family, that there would be no threat of them returning, and that they would always have an Islamic Republic. So of course he's not going to come back. Like, why would he come back? And that's no excuse for creating the IRGC. They created the IRGC because the military was somewhat loyal to Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. And so right now they've infiltrated it, but at the time they didn't kill everyone in the other military, so they created a separate military that would be loyal to them. And they needed that because they were fighting in Iraq, and they needed the Shah's military to survive. The IRGC is nothing but, you know who the leaders of the IRGC are, people? They're not like experts in military strategy and like people who did military service. They're the people who tortured innocent people. They were like in their 20s when the revolution happened. They drug innocent people in the streets, lit them on fire, tortured and raped people. And those are the people who are the leaders of the IRGC. They're not military experts. The guy Salami took the Shah's maid and beat her. They threw in her bag. They drug her in the street. They beat her, and then they lit her on fire. That's the Salami guy, one of the IRGC people who Israel killed. You know, I don't know what he's talking about. Iran had a constitutional democracy. Let me tell you how much they lie about the Shah. They said that he had a bear that would rape prisoners. This is the nonsense that they spread. When the Islamic Republic came, they said that the Ayatollah's face was on the moon. They said that there were truckloads of fingernails that were cut off the dissidents. This is all untrue. What they had was, and then he said that there was a coup in '53 with Mossadegh, and he's obviously, this is all the regime's nonsense. There was no coup. Because Mossadegh was the one who was actually doing the coup. Mossadegh was appointed by the Shah to be prime minister legally according to the 1906 constitution. And so the Shah was, his father was the only king, the only Shah who was elected by a majlis and was appointed according to constitutional law. That was the first time in history. His father was removed by the British to say, basically, they wanted to create a republic after World War II by the British. But they only took the Shah, sent him in exile, and kept his son. And so his son was anti-British. His son was the guy who was raising the price of petroleum causing the 1970s oil crisis. So it's actually the West who removed the Shah, and the Shah was actually a really great person. They had political groups that would go out and ask for his assassination and overthrow. These were the same political groups that took over, and we saw what happened when they took over. They you know, everything he's saying is basically regime propaganda, and that's what they do. They don't come out. There's different groups. There are people who say the regime is great. That's one way of propaganda, the psychological warfare that they fight. But there's another way, fake opposition. They have people who say, "Oh, I'm not with the regime. But I go there 3 times last year, and it's not that bad because among the elites within the regime, they have all the rights. Like their kids can violate hijab law. They can wear shorts. There's a video where this guy, Shamkhani, who's Khamenei's right-hand man, his apartment was hit. And his son is seen walking up to his apartment on the street crying. And his son is wearing shorts and a T-shirt, which is against the law. They get to violate the law. They can have parties. They can drink alcohol. They can live a Western life, but then they torture regular people who want to have that same life because obviously it's a mafia dictatorship. So
well, let me ask you this. Like, this is a weird. The Persians that tend to live. I live in Arizona. Most of the Persians I have met, personally at least, have been Baha'i. My Amir, my first, he was my dorm mate my freshman year at college. He was a Muslim Persian. I don't need to get caught in the weeds, but there's one thing that I would say, it's not to be self-deprecating, but I would say if I had to guess, Persian Americans are on average, they do better than white Christian Americans or Christians of European descent, and I would say fairly well-educated population here. We see what they have to say about what's happening in Iran. What I find weird is that people will just out of a sleight of hand, they'll say oh well, yeah, these people aren't there anymore, so they don't deserve to say anything. But I would say when you have a group of people, the same ethnic group that is rather prosperous and successful here in the United States, where they're granted the freedoms to I guess you could say pursue their goals to the best of their potential, and I just see this weird. The pushback I get from the pro IRGC crowd is I can't make sense of it. It to me, and a lot of us have seen how they hang these protesters, and just but I would also say just the insane rhetoric that comes from them. How am I supposed to take Iran seriously? I can't.
So didn't this gentleman, out of respect to Saman, I appreciate what he shared, did he not call Donald Trump a genius earlier?
He said in regards to the bombing, I said it was a beautiful attack, and he basically agreed. But when it came to him bombing, the live state television interview where all of the Iranians could see it, because they cut off internet access to the rest of the world and said you can't post anything else from the outside world, otherwise you'll get thrown in jail. To me, that was a genius move. It might have been to be fair, it might have been a Mossad thing and not Trump, but it was genius.
Donald Trump is a lot of things. A genius he is not. We can argue that he has people. He surrounded himself this term with people who kind of understand understand foreign relations a lot better, but
I don't think any of us are calling him a genius, like personally.
just wanted to make sure.
Pepe, see, this is what I'm trying to say. Right now, if you go to Europe, most of people in Europe we look at Donald Trump and would say, "Oh, most Americans don't support Donald Trump. This is not representative of United States. This is not United States. This is exact same thing." But I'm telling you, if you go in, you don't listen to Iranians which are in United States. They are not a good representative of Iranian population.
Who says that?
They,
Who
Sarah,
says that?
No, I
don't
will
let me
admit
finish.
that the people that would have defected from
So I give you
from
one
Iran,
example.
yes, obviously they're going to be anti-Iran. But what I would say is, why is it that the Iranians that ended up coming here so happen to do very well? And they're not facing ethnic, racial. Hold on a second. They're not facing ethnic, racial, or even religious persecution. They're getting locked up and committing crimes at a lower rate. They are earning more money. They have higher levels of education. You know, in other words, they are prospering here, even more so than the native population. And so, I would have to say, I mean, are these? Why would you discredit them when they ended up moving to another country and they're doing better than us on average? I mean, I would say maybe there's some credence to their argument.
No, Pepe, like if you look at Koreans and if you look at Japanese, they do better than Iranian here as a minority. So when you have a group of people which have migrated over two continents and one ocean, definitely they are very, very love to fight to succeed. You cannot compare them, for example, with Hispanic.
No, I agree. I agree. Like,
I can compare them. I can compare them.
So
Here's why. Let me say why.
Finish. Naman,
After you finish.
Okay. So I want to point this out. Like, go to Afghanistan. Let's forget Iran. In Afghanistan, United States went there, toppled the regime by boot on the ground. I really think the only way to change a regime in that area is boot on the ground. You cannot change it from here. The United States did change a regime in Afghanistan, and Ashraf Ghani came into the power. However, the people of that country in an election voted for Abdullah, which is pro-Iranian government. They voted for Abdullah, and we had to intervene and put Ashraf Ghani in power, which led to all the chaos, and then we had to leave. So you have to see what people actually feel. The people of that area, we like it or not, they are pro-Islamic group. They are pro-religious. And the more we intervene and hurt them, I hate these people that Israel killed. I hate them. I'm happy they killed them. But the more we do it, the more we are pushing people toward religious rights. That's my point. Now
Okay.
you go.
Thank you. That was an interesting point. I want to first start on the why other groups are more successful. They have unity among the diaspora. So even though there are a lot of problems, the Korean community sticks together. The Indian community, which I work with a lot, there's a lot of unity there. But among our community, there isn't, because the people who, a lot of the people who fled right around the time of the revolution, they are different from the people who get to leave now. Now, if you are in Iran and you do something, like you get caught for a hijab violation, or you drink, or you do something against Islamic law, or anything against the government, let's say you have a disagreement with your professors, they will create a file for you such that they won't allow you to leave. But who do they let leave? they let the people leave who are loyalists to the regime. They come out west, they infiltrate the universities, and they run propaganda for the regime. They money launder for them. They get paid to do propaganda. When we moved to the community where I grew up, nobody was wearing hijab in our neighborhood. Everybody came from the era of the Shah, and you could wear a hijab, you could not wear a hijab. But most people, once they came out west, they weren't wearing hijab. But now, if I go to that same community, the Middle Eastern people who are moving there, they're walking down the street in 100-degree weather while wearing full hijab.
Hey, pause,
You know,
pause. Hey, I just read something in the chat. So, Othello, you like to talk shit to women? Is that your get down?
I know what you think you're doing, but she has no proof, and that was a lie. And most of the people were in that room that are in here right now. So continue on.
No, hold on. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I just want to make sure that we just don't have people in here threatening women. That's
way. I was just in JB's room earlier, and everything was fine. Most of the people in here right now were in there. This lady is a compulsive liar, and we've already exposed that. I would never disrespect women.
Hey, people know me here for longer than they know you. I don't know if anybody knows you or not. I'd never seen you till yesterday that you came to that room. When I said IRGC is animals, I was lashed. You and that dude, the other guy, you guys told me maybe you did something wrong that you were lashed. Okay? So shut your fucking mouth and don't call me a liar.
That is what you said.
That is what you said, Othello. That is what you said, Othello. And I find you to be a very spineless piece of shit to come in here and ping Edmund into the room, please. Ping Edmund into the room, please, because it was definitely recorded, Othello. It was definitely recorded.
Everybody should calm down. You said that.
No one believes
that
in the room that he goes to.
You said you want IRGC to stay in power so they wipe Israel off the map.
Okay, where's the screenshot?
And you told me if I got last, I deserved it.
Where is the screenshot?
If I got I have a screenshot of you telling me that I won't be a doctor.
Wait, hold on, sir. Hold on. Listen.
Everybody should calm down.
Hold on. Well, you should shut the fuck up while I'm speaking. How about that? You got anything smart to say to that? I didn't think so, bitch. Let me just get to the fucking point here. If you guys want to have an honest discussion, we could have an honest discussion. It is a fucking red flag on this fucking app, though, when people say, oh, where's your evidence? I will tell you this. There is fucking evidence of a lot of shit that's on here. And Darko, don't even unmute. You know what? I'm going to send your dumb ass to the fucking audience. You can talk your shit in the fucking chat. You're not going to be on the stage. Here's a question for you, Othello. Because it just doesn't check out when you say you don't have any evidence. The way that you would defend yourself if you were telling the truth wouldn't be asking for somebody to prove the evidence. That's what guilty people say. Just saying.
Okay, well, you can't tell me how to defend myself.
I have evidence on.
Wait, she's
I have
speaking
evidence, Roger.
Hold on. Let's get to the evidence.
I was defending. This was an Iran versus Israel room. I was defending Israel.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that shit.
I was trashing Islam, and I was blaming all of this on Islam and IRGC. And then this dude comes and writes in the chat after he told me all that anti-Semitic stuff. He said, Dr. Sarah Love won't be a doctor for too long after these recording and screenshots released.
That's the only thing that's true.
Now, listen. Hey, shut up.
There's no
You know what he claimed?
There's no evidence.
He claimed I was being racist.
Oh, hold on, Sarah.
Not about race.
Sarah, hold on. Sarah, hold on. So, Othello, what did you mean when you said that she wouldn't be a doctor for too long?
That I was going to report her to the California Medical Board for holding racist rooms.
They don't care.
No, but the room wasn't about race. The room was about Iran versus Israel. And someone can tell you guys, I'm pretty sure he knows. Look, when you're Muslim, like even Iranians, if you travel to Israel. They will hang you if you go back to Iran. You're not even supposed to travel to Israel, let alone like be in a room, be a mod, and defend Israel for 10 hours straight. When he says recording and screenshots being released, do you guys see that Wayfan, the agent, putting thumbs down? When he says released, that's how they talk. They can't tell you, oh, once I give this to the Pakistani friends, they're going to come cut your throat up. And I honestly don't think he was going to do it, but that's intimidation. That's how he's trying to like shut people up.
Roger, can I just say on the basis of...
Hold on, real quick. So look, we've got some accusations. It sounds like what Sarah said was that what was posted in the chat was that you're not going to be a doctor for too long. She received that as a threat, and then you clarified that yes, you wrote that, but what you were referring to is that you were going to snitch on her to some organization because you thought that was a good tactic. And so my question then to you, Othello, what did she do that was racist?
So I have the screenshots, right? And one of the things that she said in the chat was, go focus on your black reparations instead of worrying about Iran.
That's the only thing I said, and that was after you threatened my life, you piece of shit lying.
Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's get to...
Show me one more
hold on.
screenshot.
Sarah, hold on. Sarah, hold on. So if you have the screenshot, you could post it as a PTR, but I don't even know if we necessarily need that, and I'll tell you why. Because saying to somebody to focus on reparations, which is a very popular topic on this app, there's nothing inherently racist about saying that. There's nothing inherently racist about that at all.
Okay, well, I'll give you that one.
But I said that after. Can you put one
She's
screenshot?
obviously off the rails. I mean,
Othello, can you show one screenshot?
Well, hold on, Sarah, hold on. Let's have a...
Can you ask him to show one screenshot of...
let's just hear what he has to say.
Two things. We're gonna, if he's got something racist, he could put it in his PTR. He could tell people, look at my PTR. But so far, what he shared, which I believe that's something that's in the wheelhouse of a lot of people on this stage to write in the chat or to say out loud. My question would be, like, how is that racist?
I think that is racist, because if you're talking about an issue and somebody tells you, go focus on something.
Oh, wait, are you Othello?
No, I'm not.
No? Okay. I think Roger was asking Othello.
Okay, give me a second.
Well, and respectfully, Sunan, you're not Othello either, so you're...
I agree.
Okay,
Roger,
so
can you please ask him to show a screenshot?
Yeah, two things.
Look, I said the
Hold on. Listen.
He doesn't have any...
Hold on. Here's what it sounds like to me. This is what it sounds like to me. I wasn't even there. This is what it sounds like to me, and let's see if we can get through this without recordings or screenshots or whatever. It sounds like that you guys had a disagreement on this topic, and then you took what he said as threatening, which listen, it's a bitch move to try to snitch on somebody. That's a bitch move.
It wasn't a snitch. He's gonna get Sarah, that's what he meant.
Sarah, hold on.
Don't downplay it, please.
Hold on. I'm not downplaying anything. I'm telling you what it sounds like to me. The man is acknowledging that he wrote what he wrote. Now, maybe he's lying. That's possible. That's a possibility. It's also a possibility that he meant that he wanted to snitch on you, which I also think is ridiculous. Like, if we can't, as adults, have a conversation, say things to each other that might be slightly offensive. And by the way, offense is received. It's not really given. You could say all kinds of things. And if you don't believe this, just hang out with friends. In your friend group, you'll say all kinds of heinous shit. You're not going to go and call their boss or try to turn them in or try to get them fired, because we understand that language it's all up to how you want to receive it. And so if you're so fragile that you receive something that somebody says on a social media app, that offends you, and then you want to harm them by trying to get them in trouble, I personally, this is my opinion, I think that's a bitch move. I think that that's the kind of thing that on the streets wouldn't sit well with people, and it's evidence to me that people aren't really from the streets, because if they were from the streets, they don't go around threatening to snitch on people. That being said, to Sarah's point, it could have been a threat. I don't know, but to me, what it sounds like is there was a disagreement, and you said something to her that she interpreted one way. You're saying she should, you meant it another way. I think both things. Threatening a woman would be ridiculous. Threatening to snitch on somebody, in my opinion, that's almost as bad. I mean, it's bitch move territory. Like, if that was happening live in person, that's the kind of shit people get slapped over, threatening to snitch on people. So that's not something to brag on. And then the other thing is that the thing that offended you isn't even inherently racist. So, it's just weird. The whole thing's weird.
Roger,
I think it's psychotic. I think it's psychotic, and I'm going to take it one step further, Roger. The fact that the context, given the fact that he's going after a woman like this, I feel like it's very predatory.
It is. Roger.
He's really this pressed about this shit that he's keeping a little file to go around and harass this woman on the fucking internet. How many women who have pissed you off from the internet do you have tied up in your closet, fellow?
Adams, hold on.
How
Roger,
many? How many missing women do you have in your closet?
Roger, I only want to see Othello get kicked because he's a vegan.
I don't want him to get kicked. I want him to show.
No, just because he's a vegan.
Students,
that should be enough.
Please stop. Please. You guys find this funny?
No, I don't like it.
Because Roger, that screenshot that he has, he is telling the truth. I did tell him go deal with reparation instead of threatening people's life. I said that after he made this comment. In this comment, he said once your screenshots and recording is released, he does have screenshots, but nothing racist. It's all about me. Shut up!
What does that have to do with
it's
the
all
Muslim
about me
caliphate?
defending Israel.
I'm from
That
Texas.
was a threat on my life, and someone knows what I'm talking about.
I'm from Texas. What does that have to do with the Muslim caliphate?
Show me. Then what? No. You're from Texas. What does that have to do with Muslims? Yesterday you claimed you're Muslim.
She obviously knows I'm a black man because she's talking about reparations. So what? How do I connect
You
that
claimed
with
you're
the Muslim
Muslim yesterday. Is this funny? Is this really funny? Show me a
She's
screenshot
obviously
that I
off
was
her rocker.
racist.
She's had one too many matchas.
All right. Hold on. Hold on, real quick. Hold on, Sarah.
Because otherwise, I am reporting you.
Sarah, real quick. What happened? He left?
No, I mean, I thought that was,
No.
giving him the benefit of that.
No, hold on. Hey, hold on. We're bringing him back up. Don't do that. Listen, he might be a piece of shit. I don't fucking know. But I want to get to Sunan's point. About being a vegan, because there are certain things that I am very intolerant about. Vegans is one of them. Communists is the other. Othello, do you identify as either communist or vegan?
Man, with the veganism, I strive. It's never perfect, but I strive to eat vegan every day.
When's the last time you had a bacon sandwich, a BLT?
Oh my goodness, maybe 2008.
Get this communist out of here.
2009.
Jesus Christ! You know what I think? I think would bring peace to the world is if we brought everyone together for a bunch of BLT sandwiches. I think if we just all got together and ate BLTs, the world would be a better place. But Driver, I haven't heard from you on this.
I don't have a problem with Othello, but I mean.
No. I want to ask you a question. I want to get you into this conversation. Maybe this is kind of like a soft reset, if you will. What is your thought about telling the people of Tehran that they should evacuate? Do you think that a major attack is imminent?
I think there's a lot of manipulation going on, but yeah, I do think that the Iranian regime is desperate, and so if they can do what they can to throw humans in the way and then create propaganda around that, saying that they've done an exemplary job, that'll happen. Not unlike Hamas.
Yeah, so there's some interesting things in the chat. Kermit says, how Iranians having nuclear weapons is problem, and Pakistan nuclear bomb is not a problem. Pakistan is out loud jihadi country. Followed by Darko Vibes, not the smartest person in the world. He says, who said Irans cannot have nuclear weapons? Fucking English people, please go to the adult school in your local community and go back to school and learn how to fucking communicate. It's giving me a goddamn aneurysm just reading the shit that you guys are writing. But here's the reason why certain people shouldn't have nukes. You take a country like Iran, who supports terrorism and has terror cells in multiple nations. And the proliferation of any of their weaponry that's used to target innocent civilians, specifically women and children, is such a disgusting thing. And to allow a regime like that to have nuclear weapons is just beyond the pale. As far as Pakistan having them, there's a part of me that doesn't mind them having them, and I'll tell you why. If they ever use them, and this is the kind of mutually assured destruction thing, but India, if Pakistan used them on anybody, Pakistan sets off a nuke anywhere in the world, India will wipe Pakistan off the map. Pakistan will no longer exist. We'll go back to like early 1940s borders, and Pakistan will cease to exist.
Well, I think that's true, but it's interesting. I was reading this book about Pakistan. Long story, but the Chinese backing the Pakistanis and the Russians. Well, the Chinese backing the Pakistanis is, I think, a bit more problematic, right? Like, China will now use, I think, Pakistan for leverage if they can't use Iran. So I do wonder about that, but I could be wrong, and you may be 100% right.
Well,
is mutually assured destruction not the only reason why anyone has nukes in the first place?
Well, hold on. Mutually assured destruction was really a concept surrounding the people that had a lot of them. When the buildup was happening, if Russia decided to nuke us, we were going to fucking wipe them out. But they had enough that they could have fired back. The good news is since then, we've developed better rockets and we've got precision weapons. I'm not saying it wouldn't get messy, but I'm starting to believe that nuclear war, I used to think it was the most unlikely thing to ever happen. Now, I'm thinking not only is it likely to happen, I believe that there's going to be a winner, and I believe that the winner is going to be the West. What I've learned throughout this war with Ukraine, the Russians' weaponry is fucking shit. Their generals are stupid, and their soldiers are big giant pussies. I think Russia is the biggest paper tiger in the history of mankind. Just a bunch of overrated soldiers that are they're getting fucking destroyed. They're getting fucking destroyed. I don't know if you guys want me to go through the statistics of just how many people that they fucking lost.
Yeah, can I ask you how they're being destroyed when they're taking territory?
Yeah, do you know how many Russian soldiers are dead?
Human
It
wave
used to be
attacks.
about 100,000 somewhere in that area.
100,000? Yeah. Why don't you get out your fucking calculator and multiply that by 11?
We're talking about the Russians or the Ukrainians?
Russians.
The Russians.
No.
Minimum 1.1 million soldiers dead. Removed from planet Earth.
Russian soldiers dead. There's 11 million Ukrainians died.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever the
again,
number is, 10 to 1.
I wouldn't expect a guy with a towel over his head to be able to understand math. So listen, I get it. You're just flat out fucking incorrect.
He is BHI in his defense, Roger.
But I asked a specific question.
Wait, are you BHI?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Wait, hold on. No, hold on. He ain't BHI. Are you BHI?
Yeah, he's Yar Israel.
No. I didn't fucking ask you, Susan. He's a grown-ass man. Let him speak for himself.
What is BHI?
I want you to tell me what BHI is.
I don't know what that is.
Are you a Hebrew Israelite?
Black
Oh,
Hebrew
yes,
Israel?
absolutely.
Oh, you are? Okay, excellent. And I'm glad I've got some people here that speak Hebrew. Can you speak to us in Hebrew?
No.
Okay, got it. So you're not fucking Hebrew. All right, I'm moving you down for being a liar. Listen, anybody that tells you that they're BHI, Black Hebrew Israelite, they are lying to you. They don't speak Hebrew. The first question you should ask any of them before you allow them to get another fucking word out of their stupid ass mouth is, do you speak Hebrew? And if they can't speak fucking Hebrew, you tell them to shut the fuck up and go home.
Oh, Roger, there was actually a rabbi that did that, debating Hebrew Israelites. He's like, yeah, start from Genesis. And he starts reading in English, and he's like, no, read it. And he's like, what do you mean I'm reading it? He's like, in Hebrew. He's like, he just got bad, fucking crashed.
Is there any more BHI in this fucking room? Anybody? I mean, dude, I thought the fucking Hare Krishnas were fucking weird, and like, I said this earlier, but I sincerely believe it. I think BHI is like Scientology of the hood. I think it's the same thing. It's just like this fucking weird Ponzi scheme, fucking pseudo religion, weird thing. But it can only exist in the hood. What they do is they look for people that have like a third grade education, and they go, "Hey, I got good news for you." All right, Gildas is back. Sarah, did you get everything? Out of your system?
No,
there?
I did not, Roger.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, go ahead, Sarah. Oh, it's on Sarah. Go ahead, Sarah.
I asked for one comment that he screenshotted, other than the one he showed. In that one, I clearly say go get reparation instead of threatening people's life, meaning that comment was after he threatened me. So I want to see one of those screenshots that he's claiming were race related before he threatened me to like cancel culture me. I'm telling you, this is Pakistani radical Islamic style. We dealt with this last year. We had to go to FBI counterterrorism. We had this shit last year. This is not the first time. And if you ask someone, he'll tell you there are people who get killed. They're not necessarily Iranian, but people who were Muslim and they leave Islam. When you defend Israel, when you talk bad about Islam, you're playing with your life. Someone can tell you if this is true or not.
Sarah, how many glasses of wine have you had tonight?
Wait, Othello, are you a Muslim?
He's had zero.
Wait, hold on.
Allowed Roger to talk to me like that.
Hold on.
Interrupt me and mock me for how many glasses of wine I had.
No, hold on.
You piece of shit. I don't drink.
Hold on. Well, come on, that's not true. But listen, Sarah, I appreciate your passion, and I don't know how we're gonna mend this fence, but I wanted to just take a quick little second here, say hi to my friend David. David, I'm gonna be sending you a private message. I don't know if you're gonna be around on Wednesday, but if you are, just look for the private message.
Thank you. Good evening. Great room. Just got here.
Yeah. We're having a great room. We got all the hitters here. We've got Gildas in the house. We've got Marshall, in case any kind of, we need any fact checks on history. We got Dr. Adams, so we know that the fat women won't be coming to the stage tonight. We got Pepe behaving himself. We got Sunan. I don't know if you guys knew this, but like I used to fucking throw Sunan out of it. Like it goes by a different name, or at least he used to. I used to throw his ass out of the room. But since I've come back, like it's weird. It's like it's recalibrated my taste and tolerance for people. And I'm not going to say that I've acquired a taste for his gibberish, but at least I have not yet felt the need to throw him down. So whatever's happening is happening. I haven't even thrown Pepe out, but I will say I did leave a room yesterday that I was made moderator of. Shout out to my homeboy Matt Cool. Pepe started going off on one of the old school Pepe rants, and I just couldn't do it. And out of respect for Matt, it was his room. I just decided to leave the room rather than moderate it the way I would have. But Pepe went into some old school Pepe-ish. Yeah.
Wait, did he yell chimps?
I could.
No, that was me. Pepe was just yelling the N-word and got me in trouble. Thank you.
It was worse than that, but
yeah, look, it was a reminder that I'm just gonna ask Pepe directly. Pepe, you're a guy that's well read. You're not a stupid guy, and I know that you've got a dark sense of humor. But like, at what point do you think that the the intentional provocation of using the N-word in mixed company, like why do you do that? I'm just curious why you do that.
He fell asleep.
I don't think he's asleep. Anyways, here's the fucking shame of it all, right? You get Pepe on the right topic and you keep him it's like, I don't know if you've ever went bowling. You don't have to be able to bowl well if you put the bumpers up, because it'll just kind of keep the ball like on the lane, and it will definitely take out some pins. That's kind of the way that you've got to take Pepe on this app. If you let the bumpers go, it's gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball. And what I've learned is that side of him, I just have very little tolerance for, and so it just doesn't work for me. And that's crazy, because I'm the guy that will throw out faggot and retard, and so it's not like I'm overly sensitive. I just think that racial provocations with strangers is a really fucking bad idea. That's my opinion.
Oh, Roger, I was just going to mention, you see, Narayan is, I think he wants to be like a moderator. He said he knows how to run the room better than you, so we should get back on the topic.
Oh, well, thank you, Narayan Rizzle. Rizzle, I'll invite you up.
Yes.
Maybe we'll audition.
Oh, he's on stage.
He is? He is?
Yes, yes, I'm right here. I've been
perfect.
here.
Perfect. I didn't notice you because you're fucking underwhelming. But I got a question for you. And it's how you answer determine a lot of things. But you wanted to go back to the topic. Which topic did you want to go back to? Did you want to go back to the argument about the death threats and the accusations of racism, or did you want to get back to the topic of the room?
The topic of the room.
Okay, cool. Bring us back.
Yes. Yeah. No, I just have a open question, right? So the topic says Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. My thought on this is that as technology grows, it's not going to be only the Iran. It's going to be a lot of other countries that we think should not have a nuclear weapon. So I think it should be more of like a proliferation where, I think the new Iran nuclear deal was a very good one. So I like to other people that comment on this. I don't think that Israel strike on Iran is very justified, even they probably have a nuclear weapon, and they do. So, and this is where I want to bring everybody into the room, because that's where we want to talk about, right?
Okay, fair enough. I think you made a good case for getting back on topic. I don't want to hear myself talk. I want to get back to just listening and helping. And thank you, actually, for getting us back on topic. Does anybody want to respond to what Narian said about maybe a differing opinion about why the strikes are necessary and will ultimately prove to be beneficial? Does anybody want to take that position?
Well, I just want to say that those quote-unquote God-forsaken mullahs have no business with a nuke. And however close they are to one, if they have one buried somewhere in one of their mountains and they're trying to test it or whatever they're doing, they need to be eradicated. The entire program needs to be vaporized off the planet Earth, and the people need to be liberated. And if that means a quote-unquote preemptive strike, knowing that since free them people, man. Get rid of them goddamn mullahs. Fuck them mullahs.
Okay. Well, look here's the thing. I think what is more helpful in these conversations is because I could agree, fuck the mullahs, but explaining the why, right? Because people will come in here and they'll flip that around and they'll say fuck Israel, they'll say fuck the Jews, and then when you ask them for substance, they don't have anything. And so, Gildas, I know you to be a man of substance, so give me the substance behind the argument of why they've got to go.
Yeah, well, because epistemologically, they believe that they are in tune with Allah, and their people can't hear the justification for why they get to rule and why America is the big Satan. But they know they have a secret telephone relationship with Allah, and He's telling them who's evil and who's not, who should be executed or raped or tortured. They can't gain access to it. And because they have an illogical epistemology, because they have an irrational way about trying to be leaders, they don't believe in real democracy. They don't believe in individual rights. They believe they have all the rights. And what's the other term they use? Infallibility? The Ayatollah is infallible? I'm trying to maintain composure here. But because they have an irrational way of trying to lead a country, they don't deserve to be in positions of power.
I have a counter argument to that.
Well, let's hear it.
So, what I would say is Iran has not acted like that, even though, let's say action talks louder than words, right? So, Iran has not actually given their capability, have not really taken this kind of strikes. And let's talk about democracy. It's like, what is the democracy? It's like, democracy can be wrong. It only means 51%. If everybody in the Iran is kind of okay with this, they need to be okay with it. They are the nations. Leave them alone. And they want to be kind of left alone, doing what they want to do. But it shouldn't be the moral high ground that America should be taking while supporting the Israel on this. This is kind of like my point. Israel should be able to defend itself and is capable of defending itself. But Iran should also be a nation that should do whatever the fuck it wants, given what it's doing, and not bothering anybody in a way that we don't like.
I disagree with the idea that they're not bothering anyone. If they really were just some isolated Attack on Titan island, and they just wanted to...
Roger, you're hot micing.
You got a hot mic. If that was the case, if they were Ecuador or Mozambique and they're just running amok on their own and they're not affecting global trade, they're not affecting people's lives on 9/11, they don't influence terrorist groups or anything like that, then I would agree with you. But insofar as they're trying to play this behind the scenes role to destabilize America and topple the West, if that's what their regime really believes in, if they're getting up, sending their kids to school talking about death to America, I mean, that's saying death to freedom. That's saying death to liberty. Man, and if you got that stance, if their people have, not the people, but the rulers have that stance, no, we got to preemptively get in their ass. Pause.
So Gildas, you said 9/11. Iran supported 9/11.
Insofar as their fucking mantra is death to America.
I mean, that is a funny thing they say, but actually what they have done, which caused America harm.
I don't think it's funny at all. Now, I'd be hard pressed to pinch my phone right now and find the exact connection to Iran and 9/11. I've admitted that before with Roger. I don't know if that kind of thing is even published, but insofar as they support a Hamas and they support a Hezbollah and they support these different regimes, but not regimes, but terrorist cells and groups.
It's like we also have known to support terrorist groups.
No. Let me give you some fact, Gilda. So when the United States
attacked, like all the terrorist group that you're blaming supporting Israel, we have supported them at some times. Not today, 30 years, 40 years. We might have formed some. We might have actually.
This is such a dumbass fucking argument. They're on. You're a fucking Hollywood supporter. I don't know what your fucking Pashtuni asses up here complain about. Also, Wayfon, yeah, we know they were Saudi nationalists, but they're radicalized fucking Muslims. That's all they are. The reality is that Israel is our closest fucking ally in that region. We are supporting them. The ideal that we're not going to support them, the Iron Dome missiles come from fucking Arkansas. They can't create their own munitions there. It's a country the size of fucking New Jersey. They don't have the fucking minerals. They don't have the fucking, material to make their own fucking rockets. They're our closest fucking ally, and we're going to support them. And if Iran wants to fuck around, they can find out. And they're finding out right now.
How did they get there?
What do you mean?
Right.
Who got what?
Right.
What dumbass question are you asking? Go ahead. Neron.
No. Go back. How did they get there?
Okay.
Well, wait, you want to go back to 48, 67? You want to go back to 70 AD, 130 AD? Where do you want to go?
Wait, hold on. Pause.
Your argument.
Pause. I want to acknowledge the people in the chat that are retarded. The idea that having people on the stage that have differing opinions being a bad thing, okay, if you don't like it, go start your own fucking room. The purpose of these rooms typically is to be able to have a discussion. And if you have differing opinions, you can have that conversation. And maybe you guys prefer an echo chamber. If you want the echo chamber, go to the echo chamber. Listen, I think the IRGC is one of the most disgusting regimes in history. Disgusting regimes in human history. And I can't wait for them to go. That being said, those that want to come in here and defend them, we're going to hear them out. Because I believe that part of the free speech thing is allowing stupid people to say their...
Agreed.
So
where were you wanting to go back to? 70 AD, 130 AD, 1948, 67? Where are we going to...
So, Gildas, let me give you two facts while Neran is finding the time. So, IRGC, like when 9/11 happened and US attacked Taliban, IRGC gave them exact location where to hit. That's why the mission was successful there. And the other one was when ISIS was in Mosul. IRGC was fighting on the ground, collaborating with the US Air Force to bring down ISIS. So this is two examples of how IRGC actually collaborates with the United States.
I know I want to jump in.
I know you do. I see it.
For like 5 minutes they helped them. And what was the IRGC was actually in Syria massacring humans. They helped the Syrian government use chemical weapons, and I think they killed around 400,000 people. And that was one of the stupid mistakes of the Obama administration to allow Qasem Soleimani was the leader of the IRGC, and they bragged about it in Western media that Obama was so smart that he was, working with the IRGC to fight ISIS. And we saw what happened when Trump came. He said, "No, we're not going to use these terrorist organizations against each other. We're going to handle ISIS ourselves." And that's part of the problem, how we got in this situation, is that the West thought, hey, we'll use these Islamist organizations to fight the Russians, okay? But ultimately what happened is there was after the 80s, there was an alliance between the Russians and the Islamists against the West. That's what we see today. That's why they have so many Iranians who say, "Oh, I hate the regime, but I also hate the Shah and the monarch." Why? Because they were part of the left, the anti-Western, the narrative of colonialism. They're part of the left that fought the Shah, and when the Islamists won, they went and threw a bunch of these socialist communists in prison, kicked them out of the country, and killed a bunch of them. So these people were actually aligned with the Islamists. They thought they could take advantage of it, and they lost. They had a fight. One of the famous guys, Gopzadeh, the foreign minister that was Wayfan was talking about it earlier, how they wanted the U.S. to arrest the Shah and bring him back so that they could hang him. They asked the IRGC, they asked Iran. It wasn't the IRGC at that time. They asked Iran, "What evidence do you have that the Shah has committed crimes?" And Iran didn't have any evidence. But anyway, this guy, this foreign minister, Gopzadeh, he got into an argument with Khomeini when he realized that he had lost power. And he basically yelled at Khomeini and said, "We gave you this revolution," and then he was hung. So the Europeans and the West thought that they could control this regime. And I had a lot of socialist teachers from that era when I was in high school. A lot of my very liberal socialist teachers were like, "Oh, the Khomeini is bad because he killed such and such leftist guy." And back then, I didn't realize these Europeans and these Westerners were so upset that they overthrew the Shah, and these leftists that they had supported didn't end up winning. And that's one of the problems that we have. We were talking about Afghanistan earlier. When one of the things that they wanted to do to Afghanistan was to bring back Zahir Shah, who was the king of Afghanistan, and but the British vetoed it. But the U.S. were actually going to bring a cultural figure that would have had loyalty among the Afghan people. That's one of the issues. Is when they did regime change in Afghanistan and Iraq, they made a lot of mistakes. These countries were not ready for systematic advancement. In Afghanistan, you have one major city, Kabul. In Baghdad, you have like two big cities. In Iran, you have a dozen big cities. You have Tehran, Tabriz, Shiraz, Esfahan, Kerman. You have all these major metropolitan cities. So, you know what? If they're going to vote for Islamists, that's fine. But what we should have is we should have a free country, and we should have the ability to vote, and we just see what happens from there. The thing that Iran has that these other countries don't have is that Iran is the oldest nation in the world. They have a long history before Islam. And all those things are important when you're trying to create a new nation and you have a bunch of Islamists. You need to have other cultural phenomena, other cultural historical values and things that you can reach to, so that there's something to compete against the Islamists, and Iran has that.
So do you think Cyrus the Great is what will also be thrown out as an example of what could be?
Absolutely. Cyrus the Great, in fact, they have all these fake opposition channels on YouTube and stuff. And what they do is they say, they go, because they know, we talk about, what do you call it, a collective consciousness, right? So the people themselves went towards Cyrus the Great and used the symbol of Cyrus the Great as sort of like a cultural symbol to fight the Islamists. And the regime realized that. So they also they have their own channels where Islam is great, blah, blah, blah. You have your own channels where they're leftists who are communists and they hate the Shah and they hate the regime. But they also had fake anti-regime websites who used Cyrus the Great as this great symbol. Ironically, though, they are still anti-Israel. Why is it ironic? Because Cyrus is the great, not because of just because of the big empire he had, but because he freed the Jews from Babylon. He declared ethnic freedoms, religious freedoms, and all these freedoms that were documented in Xenophon's book, Cyropedia, which the Greeks used, which we see we think of the West as sort of following that tradition of Cyrus. So definitely, we're going to go back to that, and we're going to have something that is culturally Iranian that we can use. Just the other day, on the news channel that our friend Gildas was talking about, how they attacked that channel. What's funny is, just recently, the national television news channel that they have is called Sadai Sima. They actually used Cyrus the Great motifs in their background just recently, because they realize they're losing and they're trying to tap into this nationalism. What Wayfan is saying, that the attacks are going to create people to be more with the regime. That's the hope. That's the game that the regime is trying to play, but it's not going to work. People have seen this game play out. They're just biding their time to overthrow the regime. There's no way that these guys are going to be able to tap into nationalism. In fact, there's a video of Khomeini, the Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah. Hey, hold on a second. In order for us to have a conversation, let's try to make just one or two points and then just kind of keep going. I want to just cut in here. Narian Rizzle said in the chat, my question is, at what cost we going to change the regime in Iran? And I've got a question for you, Naranian. At what cost would we allow them to stay in power? What are we willing to risk leaving them in?
That's a very good question, right? I do not know. But it just feels like very deep inside that this is going to cause a lot of chaos. I just feel like if the regime change is what we're going for, then technology and everything, we should penetrate into the people, have them, develop a civil war or encourage people. There are so many Iranians, like the fellow that was talking, that says that actually want to see this regime change. Empower these people. Find a way to empower these people. If you can find a way to drop a motherfucking missiles on the, you should be able to penetrate through this. And I know it's going to be costly to us, but ultimately it's going to be the less cost if we actually, given we think that, that these people are brainwashed, then we should unbrainwash, not kill them.
Disagree. Hard disagree. And here's why. When you have a regime that sponsors terrorism, that around the globe is targeting innocent women and children, they got to go. And my hope is that the good Persian people are not anywhere near targets. The scary part, though, is that this regime and Islamists in general have this bad habit of, they'll go target innocent women and children, and then they'll go hide behind their own women and children. And then, and then when the incoming bombs come, then they say that their opposition is the bad guy. And so, that's the big problem. Is there's going to be photographs that'll come out that'll look very bad, war as hell. And so my sincere hope is that as this regime change takes place, that it happens swiftly, and that the people in Iran get involved to help have a say, a huge say in what kind of government they're going to have moving forward. Because that's the one thing that Israel nor the U.S. is going to be able to do, is determine that for the Iranian people. They're going to have to determine that for themselves.
Roger. So,
okay, one. Okay, I just want to make one quick point. Given that what you just said, right, the regime change, then we should use the CIA, Mossad, and all the intelligence capability that we have, and just topple it, just kill the guy, and see what happens. Wait 1 week. You can already create a chaos like this, right? Just if you're going for the regime change, kill the target and see what happens.
So Roger, you want a regime change with the air. So let's say you demolish Tehran, and the plan is actually this. They will instantly divide their command center to 11 command center. They have planned. It's all planned. And then what? You will go after 11 command center Iran? That's what you are suggesting?
Well, listen. If you're a terrorist or a terrorist sympathizing piece of shit, you could divide up into 1,000 command centers, and we should and we should hope for a swift death to every one of them.
Well, so basically, you're saying that bomb the whole country.
At what price is that gonna come?
There's more
like
than
sweeping
the
up
USA that are backing up Israel too. Like, let's not be stupid.
Yeah, no, yes, they are. But it's like, what is the point? My point is that at what cost, right? Okay. We want the government to be tough. We have understand that the people have been brainwashed. So we have to unbrainwash them. We should have had a lot of people, like missionaries, find a way to go into Iran and tell them, hey, like, sort of like creating a civil war in Iran would be a better choice than this.
Hold on. First of all, like, we're free to talk about this stuff, but with all due respect, like, I mean, what is your qualification to say what the best course of action? I could have my favorite course of action, but the idea that you think that you've got this all figured out, we've been dealing with this for fucking decades now. But what you're suggesting is that what the experts should have done is consulted with you, so we could have got the plan together. That's what you're saying.
Brother, if I was an expert, no. I don't. It's my opinion. It's no, not an expert opinion.
So here's my opinion. Yeah. I'll make it very clear. I'll make it very clear. Yes. If you have an ideology, whether it's a religion or whether it's some other worldview that leads you to believe that it is okay to target civilians, to target women and children. Now, women and children may die in a war. Civilians may die in a war. That's collateral damage. That happens. But if your choice is to target them and then hide behind them, this is the type of regime that we're talking about. And all of their proxies operate the exact same way. I have no sympathy, none, not a single drop of sympathy for anyone that supports that shit. And I don't think that look, if you told me that 1 billion people on the planet support that, then I would say that I support killing 1 billion people. Because anyone that supports that must die.
Yes. you see how democracy operates, right? Democracy is majority. So you're just saying.
Wait, what did you say? Did
That's
you say
against
democracy is the majority? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Of
What
where?
else it is? It's 51%.
Of like what? Of like as far as like the entire.
Wait,
world?
hold on. First of all, can you tell me which country you believe has a democracy?
Right.
I think America has democracy. Yes.
No, America intentionally avoided a direct democracy.
Yes,
hold on. Let me finish my point. No. You can't say something and then when I disagree with you, you say, yeah, you agree with me. No, I'm disagreeing with you. Okay, I'm telling you that when the U.S. was created, it was with the idea that with the expressed idea that direct democracy is a terrible idea, and they wanted to avoid that because it's a bad idea. And so what they did was they set up a representative democracy, which is different. And you could say, oh yeah, but it's still democracy. No. It's not majority rules. And in fact, majority rules, if we would have set up our country with the majority ruling, slavery would have lasted at least another 100 years. So be very careful what you would.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. But where are you from?
Try saying like no to Ryan.
Wait, what? Say it again.
Like try saying no to Ryan. How would you say no to Ryan?
Okay, we're not gonna fucking play this goddamn game of fucking like who knows how to pronounce.
No, Ryan.
Hey, hold on. I don't give a shit if you guys mispronounce names. You know what? Fuck it. If you mispronounce,
don't either.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. No, what? Why are you speaking, dude? Can I just say hi to my friend fucking Rolo for a second? Can I just say, Rolo, it's good to see you.
I just want to know where he's from.
How we going?
Rolo, do you have a problem with my new moniker?
Fuck is going on?
It's better than the old one.
You know, all it means is that I make the kitty wet.
Hello?
Meow.
Look see, everything was not sexual at all until Rohan got here. Look at this.
That's what happens.
Exactly.
When he brings his, actually,
it's Dr. Jordan that did it. Actually.
Actually, Rohan's not here. Rolo's here. But thanks for detonating people.
Bang. Thanks, Anne. Appreciate it.
Sorry.
What's going on, Mojo? This is an anomaly. It's good to see you, man.
No, it's really.
I'm gonna have to change my name, man. Y'all got different names, but I recognize all the voices.
Oh, hold on. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. No problem at all.
Yeah, perfect. So, DEI is optional. I don't know what that was all about. Let's see. So it's been very interesting coming back, Rolo, to this app. I came back and Anne was in the middle of a controversy. I think we worked through that, though. I think she's back. I think she's back to the new and improved Anne, not the throwback Anne.
Controversy in the same sentence.
She had this throwback moment. We don't have to discuss the details. In fact, I'm forbidden from talking about the details. But it was a throwback moment. And so, nope. I'm forbidden to talk about it.
You're such a douchebag.
I'm so curious about it now. And why don't you look? I mean, just come out. You've always spoken your piece and been true to yourself. So why don't you tell us?
Well, first, I need you to give me a reliable source, and then we can talk about it.
Okay, so let's move back to the topic. Rolo, do you have any thoughts on the prospects of taking out the IRGC?
Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. I'm happy to share my thoughts.
Okay, perfect. You take your 5 minutes. I think we got Loquacious, who had indicated in the chat that he wanted to come up. We brought him up. Loquacious, what do you want to add to this conversation?
Hello, guys. Hi.
hear me?
Sure can.
Yes, but with this fucking accent, it better be good.
Yes, your fault.
Yeah. So, yeah, my point is very clear. I mentioned in the chat books, if Israel have a nukes, they can't stop any other country,
No idea what point you're trying to make.
Wait, what did he say?
So if Israel has a nuke between two countries right now, it's between Israel and Iran. So why these two countries are fighting with each other? What's the reason? Because Israel is trying to stop them. They can't make the nuclear weapons, but they have a right because Israel do have a nuclear weapons. The country who have
hold on, Loquacious, hold on. You can't just skip over 70 years of history. Listen, if you didn't have a regime that hated Jews, we would probably not be having this conversation. It's when you have people that have a worldview that Jews don't have the right to exist on planet Earth, that's a problem. And we could go back to the creation of the state of Israel in 1948. We could have that conversation. We could go back further and have a historical conversation. I know that once upon a time the glorious Persian Empire, had rolled through there. But so would every other empire. So I don't know why you want to start this conflict on the day that bombs dropped in Tehran, because this conflict is long-standing. And by the way, one of the sides, and it's not Iran, actually desires peace.
Can I just ask one simple question? Is it for anybody else? Is there something just inherently? Just something that pisses you off and you can't stand people that eat fucking horse meat? Like, I don't know what it is. Every time I meet somebody that eats fucking horse meat, it just drives me nuts. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about the history, yeah, we can talk about the history. Right now, what's happening, if the Iran is retaliating, like Israeli people, they are killing some civilians. So we all are against them, at the end, I think in the war, the first casualty is innocent people. It's happening in the both sides, from the Iran side, from the Israel side. So it's not good, like the way they are killing the innocent people in the crossfire.
Did somebody move him? That was weird. I didn't move. He's welcome to come back up, despite my disagreement with what he was saying. Shamim, my cowboy brother. It's been a while since I've seen you. Nuha, I don't think I know you, but what's up? Moose is back in the building. Let's have a conversation here. And you seem to be probably the most, I think, conflicted and in the middle of this argument out of anybody. Like, everybody else seems to be pretty definitive one way or the other about what they'd like to see happen, and you're kind of like middle of the road. How did you come to this position of like straddling them?
In the Bible, we are supposed to just pray and not intervene in God's plan, and avoid conflict and just pray for our neighbors. So we aren't supposed to take sides. This isn't about us. This is beyond us. So essentially, we are supposed to turn the other cheek, essentially, but pray for our neighbors, and pray for peace.
And
so when you say straddle the middle,
yeah,
and I know you don't, and I know that you had written something and sent it about fence sitters. You can call it fence sitting if you think that Christians are fence sitters, but to me,
I think this is different. I think that there's if there's people that are genuinely praying for peace, I don't think that's fence sitting. I think the fence sitting is when people do. They have the passionate opinion that that there's some that both sides are in the wrong.
Oh yeah,
like that whole shit.
I do think I think definitely one innocent life being taken is one too many. So when the news is reporting, like the number of deaths, and then people are then making rooms about like, oh, we're winning. We have more dead bodies than you do. Like, to me, that's like sick. And I don't appreciate that kind of talk at all.
But what about enemy combatants? I mean, the Bible does talk about there is a time to fight, and so
as disciples, we aren't called to do that. So like the Jews have a certain like God calls them to serve a certain purpose, and He also has a certain purpose for us disciples, and so we know what we're supposed to do when this happens, and we're supposed to stay out of it and pray for peace. Now, however, like I see what's going on, but I think that one innocent life is one too many, and as a woman, I don't like to see war. I don't think we're cut out to like be that, like, it's not good for women. Like, so essentially, I don't want war. I don't like seeing it, but that's just me. I don't want to like see people dying, but that just comes for like men. You guys are like the protector, so like to you guys, like you want to protect, defend, and your family and your homeland, which is respectable. But just women talking about it can get like, we get more. We're out of body experience. It's just not.
No, that's fair. But and when it comes to innocent lives being taken, I'm very sympathetic to that. I do think my position on this is pretty consistent, that I don't want to see innocent people harmed. So if people have it, let's say if two people had a problem with each other and wanted to fight, right? If you were in a bar and two people were, like, I'm going to kick your ass, no, I'm going to kick your ass. If they mutually decided we want to fight, I don't really have a problem with that. I would still probably try to be a peacemaker, to be honest.
You probably stay out of it.
But if they wanted to engage with each other, I would say have at it. The problem that I've always had with these conflicts, and the people that hate Israel and the people, let's be more specific, that hate Jews, the thing that they do that really is problematic to me is the fact that they're not honorable in the way that they want to fight. If you had people that had beef with Israel or had beef with the Jews and said, okay, hey, at 3:00 behind the backstop, we're gonna duke it out. Whether it's dueling pistols or sword fights or what we have now with with tanks and bombs and the armaments that we have today. To me, it's all about are these two sides like willing combatants? And the problem that I see is that one side wants to target the enemy combatants. The other side wants to target the women and children. And then when the women and children get harmed, the side that wants to defend their women and children goes after enemy combatants. And those enemy combatants, like cowards, are now hiding behind their own women and children. And that's the problem that I have. I think that there's something just very, at its core, so dishonorable about these terrorists. That's what they are.
Well, I'm going to give, I don't even necessarily know if it's pushback, but hear me out. So when Hamas was hiding in the tunnels underneath the children's hospital and the school, and then they had threatened that they were going to essentially come and kill all Israelis in Israel. Right before that, that was a threat, and then Israel chose to bomb that hospital and that school. And the next thing on the news, the Hamas was using their children as human shields. And to me, that's very, very clever, manipulative, though, to say that, because essentially I thought that Hamas set Israel up And now, like, that looked bad to me. It looked bad on Israel's part. It was a threat. You should take threats seriously. But, like, they hid underneath that, and Israel chose to go ahead and bomb because they said they knew Hamas was underneath in the tunnels. And to me, that didn't, just because someone threatens something, it's like they took the bait, essentially, is what that meant.
So after World War II, there was some established norms around, the rules of war, and one of those, and this Lee Roman II guy probably won't have the courage of his conviction to come up on the stage and talk about it, but the facts are, if you're hiding behind civilians, the term that we've come up with for that is human shields, and that is a war crime. And the reason it's a war crime is because you can't expect somebody whose civilians are being attacked and their soldiers being attacked, a country being invaded, you cannot expect them to not fire back because some coward is hiding behind women and children. And so, yes, sad but true. If you've got rocket launchers in a school, those rockets can be used to kill innocent people, and you have an obligation to save your women and children. So you would then take out that rocket. And if those sons of bitches hid that fucking rocket where children and women are at, that death, while very unfortunate, especially for children, right? While unfortunate, that blood's done on the hands of the people that launched that response. That is that. So, and you're free to disagree with me on this. The way that I see it, though, is that every single death in Gaza, every single one, every drop of blood is on the hands of Hamas and the people that are at the head of the snake funding it, which is in Iran as well as Qatar.
But at what point was it when they declared that it was a war zone, or declared war? Because I know that it wasn't considered a war until I don't even know when. When did they do that?
At what time?
I'm not being cute. I'm just
no. But at what point does the definition of a declared war matter? If somebody's
the rules of war, like when that actually comes into play, to me, it started on October 11th. Like that's when it started for me. But, like,
sure.
In my eyes, you know what I'm saying. But like I'm just saying, like I didn't know if that took I guess the rules of war. Who plays by the rules?
Yeah, well, look, here's the long history made short.
Okay.
When the British Mandate came along and Israel was offered statehood by Britain, who had most recently owned the land, controlled the land. They also offered a statehood to the Arabs, and they declined. And so the state of Palestine was not created because the Arabs decided not to accept it. And what happened the day, so Israel becomes a country, the following day, Arab nations decided to go to war with Israel. And so since its inception, in its latest incarnation in the 40s, they've been at a constant state of threat. And that threat comes from their neighbors, and it comes because of their identity. And it's pretty diabolical. And I have to say that anyone that follows this stuff closely, if you compare it to any other conflict that you could see around the world, in human history, really, their ability to focus on killing enemy combatants rather than civilians, yes, civilian casualties happen. And this is considering that that collateral damage is happening because of where the enemies positioned themselves. Israel is going above and beyond what any country in the history of warfare has ever done to avoid killing civilians. And if people want to argue about that, they're happy to have this argument, but I'm going to hold you accountable to bring facts to the table, because I will bring the facts. Roger.
Yeah, so let me know when I can say something here.
I just want to respond, and then Roger can do whatever. So I, again, like, I am supposed to pray for peace. However, there's just a different level of crimes against humanity when it comes to one of the two people in the fight. When I see that women and children are being brutally raped and things like that, like, this is disgusting, and like it's like inhumane. It's inhumane. So I'm like, really, it tears me up, because I just don't even know how, like, anybody in their right mind could do that. And I haven't, now, mind you, I haven't seen everything, but I haven't seen any Israelis raping women or children. And I could be wrong, correct me if I am wrong. But to me, it just brings a different level of war that's just like demonic.
So I just sorry, go ahead.
Well, I definitely want to hear from Dr.
So I was going to say something.
Hold on. No, you're not going to interrupt.
Okay, so add me then.
Okay, I'm going to move you to the audience, and I'll bring you back up when it's time for you to speak. I'm just going to say this very briefly. In war, there's going to be people that are fallible that can do bad things. That can happen. The other thing that I'm really impressed with Israel is that when things happen that are outside of protocol, people are held accountable. I mean, the honor in which they approach war is pretty impressive. But Dr.
I was just going to say to Ann that, I put a link at the top on Just War Theory, and I think this might explain or offer you some insight into the ethical conundrum. What's that?
No, I just said, okay, I'm going to save it.
I mean, I'm not saying it's just a different perspective. And I hope you'll record that I did not sexualize the room tonight. My partner in crime did. I didn't say a goddamn word about it.
It's documented. I'll write that down. I'll date it. And thank you for that. I just saved it.
I want to let Shamim pop in here. And Austin, don't fucking try my patience tonight. It'll be a short time if you do. Shamim, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Roger, long time, man. Hope everyone's well. Sorry if my voice is kind of messed up.
Shamim, it's Mojo. Yeah. It's Mojo. You call me Mojo.
I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness, Your Royal Mojo-ness. The thing is Roger, is people, problem that was created some 40-some years ago in Iran, in my land of birth, is the same issue we have today. In a lot of these kind of, I don't know, George Soros kind of funded schools like Harvard and Princeton and Yale, and pretty much 90% of the Ivy League. I don't want to say the entire Ivy League. And there are some people that have at least 2 brain cells to rub together in these schools. The sad reality of the situation, Roger, and I say this with all due love and respect to my fellow Americans, is that a lot of Americans that were born and raised in this land of ours, this beautiful country that I happen to be a naturalized citizen of for over 20 years now, coming here as a religious refugee from Iran at the age of 7. And the thing, Roger, that a lot of people, a lot of these like Ivy League schools in particular fail to understand is that when you don't know your history and you don't know another country's history, and you fail to read history books, and you fail to read history books from a broad range of perspectives, and are just willingly, I don't know if I want to say ignorant, brainwashed. Because like if someone is brainwashed, how do they even know they're brainwashed? They're brainwashed after all. The point I'm getting to, Roger, is that unfortunately, people like this, and there's thousands upon millions of these types of people in the world. I don't want to say they sadly exist because I'm not advocating for their extermination. We live in a world of duality, so if stupid didn't exist, smart couldn't exist. Same thing with light and darkness. Same thing with whatever. All the juxtaposition. What I'm trying to say in plain English, Roger, is that basically, if you watch these campuses that you saw last 2-3 years, where these kids with 75 different colors of the rainbow in their hair are screaming at the top of their lungs, free a nation state that never existed and probably will never exist, for better or for worse, just like Kurdistan. And I feel bad for all these kids in Gaza and all over the Arab world that are getting their shit handed to them because a bunch of terrorists don't want to give it up. And if you remember Yasser Arafat, and I forgot the prime minister at the time, if somebody could help me, the gentleman with the big spot in the middle of his head or something. I'm getting him and probably Gorbachev mixed up. That was Russia. But anyway, the point is, in the 90s, if you remember, with Clinton, and they shook hands, and Arafat, who, by the way, was not Palestinian, he was Egyptian by birth, and they swore to have peace. And then, if I remember correctly, not even 6 or 7 years later, they had another intifada, and were throwing rocks at Israeli IDF tanks. The funny thing is that, speaking of the IDF, I'll say this real quick, Roger. The IDF, and I lived in Israel for 1.5 years, by the way, and I have no affiliation with the Israeli government. I was just there studying abroad and serving at the Baha'i World Center in Haifa as a security guard, because I'm a member of the Baha'i faith on a voluntary basis. And that's what I was doing there for 1.5 years. And ironically, Roger, every interaction I had with every Arab, every Jew, every atheist, every gay person, every straight person, whatever skin color and tone of shade under the sun, I never had an issue with anybody. And the ironic thing is because nobody had an issue with me, because I always led with kindness. And that's one thing we've kind of gotten away with, or gotten away from. And I remember IDF soldiers coming into the Baha'i Gardens, which is a holy place for us Baha'is. We believe that all the religions belong in Israel because it's the Holy Land. And it's the land of I don't know how many prophets, Old Testament, New Testament, what have you, spanning thousands of years. And that's a fact. That's not an opinion. And so it belongs to everybody. But you have one group of people whose entire existence is being questioned because of a bunch of prejudice, because a bunch of clergy find themselves to be superior by what logical basis, God only knows. I don't even think God wants anything to do with these people. But you have an entire army, Roger. I'll say this real quick, and I'll end shortly. I don't want to get on my soapbox. My throat is hurting from all the allergies here. The IDF is the only standing army in the entire world. And it doesn't even compare to the military might of the U.S. Army, may I add. U.S. military is by far the greatest, if you want to call it, war machine that has ever, even greater than the Roman army. I mean, you can go on and how amazing the U.S. military is. Good for us, I guess. But the IDF is the only standing army in the whole world that in its very name and by its very nature is defensive. It's defensive in nature. It's called the Israeli Defense Forces. And as far as I understand, in every single one of these wars, by the way, you were talking about a bunch of nations stood up against it in 48 when it declared its, freedom, independence, whatever.
Yeah, it was 67.
Well, that too. But even in 48, a bunch of nations stood against it. And if I'm not mistaken,
wait, hold on a second. Who came off mic?
Oh, me.
Why would you correct him on something that he was 100% correct on?
Oh no, he was looking for the number. It seemed like he was like trying to.
He was correct though. 1948 was the first war.
Well, yeah, but when Gaza and the West Bank became part of Israel, it was 67 after the 6-8.
Okay. Hold on. If you're going to offer a correction, just be correct. No, he had mentioned that in 48, the day after statehood was declared, they were attacked, and you interrupted as if you were offering a value by mentioning something that everybody else on this stage is very well aware of, is that that wasn't the only war. So if you're gonna interrupt to offer a correction, just make sure that your correction is correct, which it wasn't. Shamim.
Well, no, I'll wrap it up, man. I don't want to be because the Iranians we like to go on these diatribes. The point is, Roger, is in 48, one of many wars, which...
No, I'm going to pause you there. Hold on. Listen, because you are dude a little rambling, and you know I like you. You know, you're my homie. But here's what I want to say. Let's not make this about Iranians babbling, because I have a lot of Iranian friends. This is not about being Iranian. There's a lot of good fucking Iranians. A lot of them, and so my hope in this is that an opportunity is created where those really good Iranians are going to rise up and they're going to take their country back. That's what I hope for.
Right. So I'll bring it full circle. So the 47 years of, I call it occupation, by this mafioso called in Farsi the word is Sepah. And it's short for Sepah Pastaran, which means the ones that protect the, they're the guards of the revolution. These guys are still having, part of my friends, there's ladies on the stage, but these guys are still getting off and orgasming to something that happened some 40-some years ago. Oh my God, we overthrew the Shah and blah, blah, blah. That's another point for another day entirely. But what I'm trying to say is that people that willingly either one refuse to read their history or refuse to read different authors from different perspectives of history are not only doomed to repeat history, but they're doomed to, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, so I'll just say it how I usually say it. They're doomed to walk this desert of desolation and disillusionment, living, I don't even want to understand what kind of life they live, because it's a semblance of reality. The term like Seven Nation Army, if you know that song by the White Stripes, the Seven Nation Army, that comes from, if I'm not mistaken, either 48 or 67. It doesn't matter, but multiple armies raised up against the nation of Israel multiple times in ancient times, hundreds of years before Christ ever walked this earth in physical form, and things like that. So what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't fuck with the nation. And I'm not even saying this because they're God's chosen people. It has nothing.
Bro, can we wrap this up before Jesus returns?
Right. Well, he already did 150 years ago in Iran. But the point is that most people, Roger, if I may be so bold, we're basically living in the times of the Book of Revelation. Whether people believe in that or not, that's between them and there. But the people in Iran are obviously sick of all of this nonsense, and so this is all happening.
Wait, Shamim. So listen,
that's it.
Now we're going to the Book of Revelations. Listen, I like when people cherry pick the Bible. It's one of the things that keeps me away from church. The Bible also says that you won't know the time or the place. He'll come like a thief in the night. So the idea that you pinpoint that we're living in Revelations, like it's actually anti-biblical to make that kind of commentary. If you believe what you read, you would know what I'm saying. And again, I don't want to criticize you because there's so many things that you said that I actually agree with, and I actually welcome the fact that you were able to offer some insights that I think we're missing from this stage. But let's not make it a holy war, dude. Let's not make it a holy war. Like, let's just simplify it, right? I don't believe this is a spiritual war. I don't. I don't.
Holy and war, those two things should never go together. But because people don't understand, they put it.
Well, and if you believe in the Bible, the good guys win and all that kind of jazz, right? You know, like Revelations isn't supposed to be scary, even though there's a monster. It's kind of like watching science fiction. You know, the good guy wins. I mean, if you've read the whole fucking thing, spoiler alert, you know, the good guys win. You know, so there's that. I want to get this back to a conversation though, and I really welcome you to stick around, jump back in, even if you're going to throw the hellfire brimstone and quote Revelations. All is fair game as long as we can get a conversation going. We've got Lee Roman up here who in the chat has just made an absolute fool of himself for the last 45 minutes. I want to see if he can replicate that in an audible form.
45 minutes? Was he talking that long? Oh my god.
So go ahead, and I'm going to let you audibly make a fool of yourself. Go ahead.
All right. So two things. The first thing you said was, Hamas is using human shields and they're hiding between civilians. I put two links in the chat. The first link is IDF soldiers in the shelters with the Israelis, the women and children and civilian men. The second video was, IDF anti-aircraft. No, not anti-aircraft. The anti-aircraft missiles that's used and launched at, the missiles coming down, those are actually placed in civilian areas. I put a video of that as well. So the same criticism that, the Gazans were receiving for the last year and a half, the Israelis are doing the exact same thing. The only difference is when the Israelis do it, everybody gives them a pass. And when the Gazans do it or are accused of doing it, all the blame is put on Hamas, no matter how many children are killed. And then a third thing, the first day of this war between Israel and Iran, they did some pinpoint strikes from 3,000 miles away. They said they had some Mossad agents inside Iran or whatever it is, but there's a famous picture going around of them attacking one of the generals at his home. And there's a cutout of where the missile went through. So if they're able to make those kind of pinpoint strikes, why are they not able to do that in Gaza? For the last year and a half, where more than 500,000 homes has been destroyed, different houses and hospitals, all of these things have been destroyed. And I know obviously the convenient answer is going to be Hamas. Hamas is doing this. They're using human shields. They're hiding in hospitals. They're hiding in there, hiding in this place. But if Israel has the weapons and has the know-how to pinpoint who they want in a whole building, I'm sure they're able to do that in Gaza, which is literally next door.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time to say what you think is true. It's interesting to me that that you predicted that what I would say is, but Hamas. Well, it's hard to ignore the terrorist group that was responsible for the pain and suffering of the people in Gaza, and also responsible for invading Israel, killing women and children, raping them on October the 7th. And what's interesting to me is you talk about, you could post a link of a photograph where you're going to make some assertion that that Israel is using human shields, which is just fucking laughable. And then your point was that if they've got such precision weapons, why are they taking out hospitals and schools? But you kind of acknowledge the fact that Hamas does hide in these locations. And if you don't believe that, I'm happy to post numerous examples of where this is true. And so, well, first of all, hold on. Let's just get a couple things straight, okay? With the chat, I'm glitching a little bit, but let me get in the chat and see who this fucking retard is. So, this Saint Third Eye says, "Burn Israel, burn every person in Israel, burn Israeli kids." Okay, so I'm going to leave that because I like it, but it's going to give an opportunity for all of you in the room that have any sense of civility to go ahead and copy this and report this. If everybody knows how to report, go ahead and report this. This type of stuff. I'm hoping, honestly, this is a young child that doesn't know what they're doing, and when the feds knock on their parents' door, they're able to say, hey, look, he's 11 years old, he doesn't know what he's doing. Because here's the reality. If you're an adult, when the feds come to your door, you're in jail. So please, everyone report that. Everyone report that. I'll tell you, I know some of the people in here that won't report it. And by the way, I'm watching you too.
Can I respond to the dullard named Lee? Or
the only dullard is the guy that didn't wear a condom.
I think this is a perfect time for you to jump in.
Yay!
Well, before you do, can you
shut the fuck up.
We listened to you for half an hour.
Oh my god. Iron Dump specifically is put in densely populated areas because the way the fucking system works, you fucking dullard.
Oh my
you don't
god,
understand that they are meant to intercept incoming missiles. Why the fuck would you put it 30 miles over this way when the missile's coming directly at you? The way this system works.
Hold on. Pause 1 second. I will let you go on your rant, and I appreciate it. But I just want to say to the chat, I am purposely letting this moron say what he is saying, as Clubhouse is currently and doing what they're supposed to do. Sometimes they're a little heavy-handed and they block people like me from the app. But what they're going to do is they're going to report this bum's IP address to the feds. So everyone keep doing the reporting, the copy, the paste, all of this shit, and we'll make sure that people like Saint Third Eye will not be on this app anymore. And that's why I'm leaving this. So go ahead and yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Saint Third Eyes of Pashtuni, fucking Pakistani piece of shit. Lee.
Well, I don't think we even need to make it personal. Like, let's listen, because if he's in Pakistan, then his words mean nothing because fucking India is gonna fucking nuke them any day. But yeah, we'll just leave that one alone.
Yeah, so these systems are set up to intercept missiles that are incoming. So yeah, putting rocket defense systems in populated areas does not give you vilification to then send fucking rockets into a densely populated area to try and fucking knock them out and kill them. Because they're what? Defensive, right? They're not shooting fucking rockets into fucking Palestine, you fucking retard. They're flying them in with fucking F-35Js, and they're fucking hitting specific targets. And when you talk about, these 500,000 buildings that are wiped out, you know why? Because when the IDF goes into fucking Israel, when they go into, same thing, fucking Gaza, when they go into fucking Reza and they go in there, all these buildings are fucking wired up with fucking explosives. So what does the IDF do? They go in and they blow the fucking buildings up. And then they go through the fucking buildings. So yeah, of course, they're blowing fucking buildings up because they're fucking booby-trapped, you retard.
Oh, is booby trap? Last time they told me there was tunnels under it. So which one is it? Every time it's a new excuse. It's booby trap. There's tunnels under it. There's Hamas under it.
Go in and get into the tunnels. You're not going to walk into a building that's booby trapped.
Yeah, it's booby trap, but there's literally videos of them going inside people's houses.
They blow the buildings
up. Putting explosives inside the house.
Yes.
If it was booby trapped, how can
they
you go
blow all the fucking buildings
inside
up
the house?
And then they go through and they check the fucking areas.
The only person who's going to believe your lies is yourself.
No, the question is when U.S. Army went inside Afghanistan and Iraq, I'm sure Taliban.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
Terrorists, no, they did not.
Yeah, the fuck we did.
The number of people killed and the kids is much less. Is much less. We are a professional.
Wait, I forgot. Did 1 million Iraqis die during the war?
What was the population of Iraq?
What was how many Iraqis died?
Yeah, 1 million out of 40 million.
How densely packed is fucking Baghdad? You know, in comparison with fucking
they died
Gaza.
because of suicide bombing of ISIS and those kinds of terrorists.
And then even when you guys, even when you fucking morons count fucking kids, you know how many of these kids are counted that are fucking 15, 16-year-olds run around with fucking M4 carbines and Kalashnikovs shooting at the fucking IDF.
Show me one
and then
video.
they shoot them?
Show me one video. I'll give you $10,000 right now. Show me
oh
one
my
video
God, you're fucking
of a 15-year-old with a Kalashnikov.
Yeah. There's no 15-year-olds picking up fucking rifles.
Wait, hold on. How much money did you say? $10,000
if you can show me a video.
So hold on.
No. You have to provide it.
Hold on. Lee, hold on. Couple points. Number one, I don't believe that you've ever fucking seen $10,000 in your life.
Yeah,
you probably don't earn $10,000 over a 6-month period.
Yeah, okay.
But let's say you did. Let's say I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you had $10,000. Let's do this. I'll pick somebody on the stage that's reliable. Go ahead and put the $10,000 in an escrow. You could just cash out $10,000 to someone, and then hold on before you say no. Before you say no to this, and here's what I will do. That to that same person, I will put $10,000 of my money. I actually have it. I'll put $10,000 up, and then if we can produce a video showing teenage children with Kalashnikovs in Gaza fighting against the IDF.
Any kind of rifle.
Hold on.
No, any kind of rifle. You're gonna show me an air gun or a plastic gun?
No, I said an M4 carbine or a Kalashnikov.
Yes.
Correct. Hold on. Do you accept the challenge for me and you to both put $10,000 cash into an escrow account? Okay, now. There's only one person that I trust with this stuff. Dr. Jordan, would you allow us, both me and Lee, to cash app you $10,000 right now? Or Venmo you, whatever. Would you allow us to do that right now, Dr. Jordan?
Of course.
Okay. So Lee, will you do that? Will you send
provide the proof. I don't know who Dr. Jordan is.
No. You don't understand how bets work. You don't understand how bets work.
That's not my friend. I don't know him.
Okay. Who's somebody on the stage that you trust?
I don't know any of these guys.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course? So, you want me to say I know somebody I don't know? Like, what's up?
Well, here's the problem. I'm willing to put $10,000 up.
Okay, provide the video.
Well, hold on. If you put $10,000 up, and I'll put $10,000 up, and by the way, if we were to just take your money, that would be a federal offense. We would go to jail for that.
Yeah,
so you have no
fear. Hire a lawyer with a $5,000 escrow to get my money. Why the hell would I do that?
Okay, so you don't have $10,000. Got it. Okay, go ahead.
Provide the proof. I could send you my crypto wallet and show you the money in it.
I'm happy.
Some stupid escrow.
If the money is in escrow, how about this? Why don't we meet up in person? You bring the cash, I'll bring the cash, and then we'll.
Colorado right now. Where are you?
I'm actually right near Seattle. When do you want to go? How about this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we agree? I will come to you. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to bring people because if you don't have the $10,000, we're going to beat that shit out of you. But if you have to,
Mr. Federal Crime is making a threat. He's going to beat me up and bring people.
Well, if you defraud me of $10,000, yeah, I would risk going to jail over that. Yeah, that's a pretty serious crime to take $10,000 from me. But let's.
I gotta go soon.
I would go too soon if I were you too, because this is where
for 30 minutes.
This is where people get themselves in trouble. They say that they will pay $10,000 if somebody can produce something, but you can't even produce the $10,000 to make the wager.
Listen. I know you wanna what is it called? Do a dick measuring contest, and I can give you a screenshot or whatever it is. You're gonna say it's doctored and edited and all that shit. The money's there. What is not there is the proof that 15-year-olds are running around with Kalashnikovs in Gaza. That's what I'm sure.
Hey, Roger, can you click my PTR?
I'm going to interrupt too and say we can get rid of this this guy now. We've all reported him. Say third.
Okay.
Roger, did you click on the PTR?
Will you send that money? Will you send that money if they find the proof? For real?
Oh, you talking to me?
No. Oh, you guys kicked him?
Oh, not me. What did you say, Sunan? You meant me.
No, Lee's here. Hey, David, my shit's glitching. I'm gonna mod you if you could do the removal.
Hey, Dr. Jordan, what is my picture of in my PTR?
It's the porn star Jenna Jameson.
No.
That's what it looks like to me. Hold on, let me.
You gotta click on it.
Go get the proof. I think he's gonna send you guys.
I've already got the fucking proof. That was the whole point. PTR. Pull to refresh.
It looks like Palestinian kids with
Kalashnikovs. Yeah.
All right, fork it over, brother.
Yeah, when was that? Was that in the last year and a half?
I mean, it's a recent photo.
Hey, how about? Hold on. Lee, how about this? Hold on. He just produced the proof, but I want to be a gentleman. I am known on this app for being the most fair person. Now, while you did offer $10,000, can we just do this and soon, and hopefully you don't mind me negotiating on your behalf. But I don't think you're going to get the 10,000. But how about this? Why don't you just send him $100 and an apology note that says, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." $100 and say you were sorry, you were wrong, and we'll let you off the hook. You're saving $9,900. What do you think?
Okay, PTR.
Excellent. Then send the man his money.
Whose money?
Sunan,
go ahead. That's from the last year and a half. Does he have it?
What were we talking about? I thought you guys.
I said
I was looking at the thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of photos of Palestinians with AKs.
Fighting the IDF, right? Last year and a half. Show me.
You said I couldn't even. No. Be specific. You said I couldn't even provide a photo of a fucking 15, 16-year-old kid holding a fucking AK. I said that's what you said. You fucking lying sack of shit.
Listen. I said show me a video of 15-year-olds running
kids
around.
Walking through the street in Gaza.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. For those of you on the stage and in the audience, did Lee say that he would pay $10,000 if a photo could be produced of teenage kids with machine guns in their hands? Did he say that?
Running around. How can you have a photo of somebody running around? I said video.
This is where people lose their. They lose their credibility. They lose their honor.
You have replays on? You can replay it.
You just looked up and you know that I don't put replays on.
How did
which
I
is
look
why
at what you're talking about? I'm driving.
Good. Oh yeah. What do you do? A fucking Uber driver? Jesus Christ.
I'm an Uber driver transferring $2,000 a day. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That. Well, makes sense. I mean, considering who you support, you probably have a lot of money coming in and out of your fucking pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
Terror simps get their hands on money sometimes, but what I do know is that you're not transferring the $10,000 that you're supposed to transfer. That you did you lost a bet. From now on, you can hold any position. You'd be right, wrong. I might agree with you or whatever, but in my mind, you're the guy that welched on a bet.
It literally says, here's the video title. Inside the Gaza summer camps, training children to be next generation of terrorists. They're all holding Kalashnikovs. It's like hundreds of them.
2 points, right? First point, I said a year and a half. The last year
now you want to add caveats afterwards.
Hold on. No, it was always there.
No, you just added the year and a half.
I know you don't listen well, right? Look, I'm speaking. You're still talking. That's why you're not listening well.
Wait, hold on.
Second point.
So, hold on, Lee. I got a question for you. So you're putting this caveat of a year and a half all of a sudden. Let me ask you this: if a year and 9 months ago a video was captured, does that make your point stronger?
My point is, or the point he made is that 15-year-olds are running in Gaza during this war. That's why I said a year and a half.
It's literally a video of Gazan teenage kids, like 10 to 16 years old.
Yeah, in summer camp, because there's no kids in America that fired
training how to become Gaza fighters. And now he wants to add the last year and a half. Yeah, I guess they didn't have training camps.
You don't listen. That's the whole issue.
No, you didn't say year and a half until just now, you fucking retard, in the last, like, few minutes.
Yes, I know you don't listen. It's okay.
Okay, Lee, can you at least acknowledge, we know your broke ass ain't gonna pay the bet, but can you at least acknowledge...
Go ahead, I screenshotted my account. Go ahead and show yours.
Can you at least acknowledge that that you've been provided photo and video evidence that children in Gaza carry machine?
Yeah, and I can show the exact same video in the U.S. and any country that has guns. What his point is
terrorist training camp?
Just one second. Your point is these kids are fighting against the IDF. That's why they're legitimate targets.
Wait, I wonder why they had a training camp.
Hold on. Look, you keep talking and you're not listening to what I'm saying. Kids in a training camp does not make people legitimate targets.
In a terrorist training camp?
Okay. Hold on. This bitch is gonna send some money now. I was gonna let it go, leave it alone. I got 1.96 million in my fucking bank. I could pay the 10 grand, but I was gonna let it go. But this bitch wants to be proven wrong. It's in the chat, you fucking cuck. It's in the last year. It's a video. No, you wanted a video. You wanted a video, you fucking piece of shit.
Let's all look at the video that was provided in the chat. Let's see if this satisfies. Let's see what Lee's excuse will be.
Here's the title: Israeli-Palestinian War. Hamas commanders are training children to defend Gaza. It's got a bunch of kids sitting around in fucking black outfits with fucking rifles.
Lee, your comment on that video?
What is his exact statement that all started this? He said there's 15-year-olds running with M4 carbines and Kalashnikovs.
I said
running around Gaza fighting the IDF. Isn't that what you said?
This is fascinating. I haven't seen somebody welch on a bet like this since Isaiah did it with the presidential.
Yeah, it's
dude,
true.
Little kids posing with a gun, that's nothing, dude. I posed with my little 3-year-old kid with a gun. Like, what does that mean? He's training?
Posted 2 videos. These motherfuckers is
There's thousands of photos, too, on Google.
Yeah, the thing was in a lot of photos. It was a video. So you have to be specific in a bet, right? But you want to make it where you win no matter what. I was very specific with what I said.
You said in the last year and a half. That's 1 year ago, you dummy.
Yeah, last year and a half. Running around in Gaza. This is what you said. Running around in Gaza fighting the IDF. This is exactly
October 16th, 2023, this video.
Okay, are they running around fighting IDF?
Can't split hairs, man. You gotta admit that you lost this one.
He's a Hollywood supporter. He's not going to guilt.
So the point is that this thing was so obvious. You would see it, right? You would see it on drone video.
There's like channels that.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Lee, we knew from the start that you wouldn't pay up. It's fucking Clubhouse. Like, by the way, I made some bets on the presidential election. I made that bet with the same bet with 3 people. Told them that Trump would win in a landslide. 3 people bet me, and all 3 of them paid up because the people that I wagered with were, even though they were dummies, they were honorable enough to pay up. I'm not going to shame you anymore into paying up because I don't think it's going to happen. I think that you would rather hide yourself behind women and children like your heroes in Gaza than you would to pay up the money. But can you at least fucking admit? Can you at least admit that the point was proven and you were incorrect?
Hell no.
He got double the fuck down. Watch. He said Doug of Biden. Exactly.
Next time, I'll make a bet because I know you guys are gonna bend it however you want. I'll write down the terms. That way, there's no arguments.
I will say. I will say
bet,
this.
Here, listen, I'll make a different bet. If you want to make a different bet,
hold
give me
on,
two names of Israeli women raped on October 7th.
Hold on. Here's what I want to say. Nobody is ever going to make a bet with you ever again, because the first bet that you made in public, you tried to change the terms of, and even when you changed the terms, you were shown evidence that you were incorrect, and now you want to waffle.
And again, a picture of kids at a training camp. That happens in America every day.
Lee, let me just say this. Everyone in this room just saw you embarrass yourself the same way you had been embarrassing yourself in chat. When I first invited you up to speak, I said, hey, you're on the stage. Let's see if you can embarrass yourself as much as you did when you were in the chat. Congratulations, you've outdone your.
In the black rooms, we say you got cooked.
What do we call that in the white rooms, Gildas?
I'm not quite sure yet, but I know cooking is a cooking. Got filleted, grilled, flambéed, all kind of shit. Is what I witnessed.
Oh, I just want to mention that you got cooked by a Jew too. Just so you know, yo.
You did get cooked, brother. Maybe the white people say you're up shit's creek with no paddle. Yeah, maybe something like that.
I'm just saying, this is why these muzzies shouldn't fuck with the Jews. They always lose.
Yeah, you got cooked, dog.
I have to tell you, it's been a while since I've seen this kind of fucking, like, just a complete assassination on this fucking app. Well done, Sid.
That's a massacre.
Oh, sorry, I'm downloading the Funker FUNKER 530 app, which has like actual GoPro.
Yeah, so Sunan, are you gonna show us your account with 1.93 million?
I don't have to prove anything to you. I own a recruiting agency. I own a recruiting agency, and for the last 7 years, I worked as a crane operator in a fucking oil field, making $225,000. So suck a dick. So if anybody's interested, download FUNKER 530. Like I said, they have all the videos from GoPros and all this kind of shit, from everything from Ukraine to Israel. So we can find a bunch of videos, and they're actually people getting blown up and shit.
Man, I got cooked one time back in 2021, because I didn't have my facts ready. It happens to the best of us, man, but you got to admit when you're cooked.
Dude, this training camp video is before October 7th. It's not kids running around during a wartime with collision belts. If you guys want him to win, dude. I know you love cursing because you don't have the vocabulary. You don't have the vocabulary to get in an argument with him.
Actually, that's been disproven about the lack of vocabulary and lack of intellect.
It ain't about that.
I'm actually a Mensa member with a 141 IQ, and there's 6 Mensa members in my family. Father's 134, aunt's 136, cousin's 138, grandfather was 139, I'm 141, my brother's 160.
Soon, and I wouldn't brag about this Mensa shit. No.
I like Mensa.
121 is not Mensa.
No, I said 141. Threshold's 131.5, higher 99 percentile, top 1% of high IQs globally.
This now I remember why I found you annoying. These are the kind of things that nobody gives a shit about. People bragging about Mensa, oh God, never mind.
Oh, you gonna pay up, Lee?
Are you actually gonna provide?
I don't even want the money. You can give it to Roger.
How about this? Why don't you give $10,000 to United Hatzalah? It's a nice little charity that would help the people in Israel. Why don't you do that?
I don't support that.